How do you create a successful business and a fulfilling life? In 2020, after leaving the corporate world once and for all, I founded my digital agency that replaced a six-figure income within just the first few months. Since then, I've coached thousands of entrepreneurs across the globe to do the same. Now I'm on a mission to teach others how an exceptional life is not only possible, but very achievable through entrepreneurship. Thank you for joining me, and let's dive in. All right, this is a simple presentation framework that really can be applied for any place that you are delivering content, that you're delivering something that you're teaching, value that you're adding, whatever it might be. And if you can practice this framework and understand this framework, really, truly, you can teach anything on the spot, and you can capture the attention or capture the attention span of your audience for a longer period of time. So this will apply for webinars, for masterclasses that you might be teaching. This applies for the way that you structure your copy. So we use similar variations for this, even for ad copy or for social media posts, if you have something important that you're wanting to get across, right? This has so many different applications. And the cool thing about it too is that it's no secret. I mean, if you study or look at successful individuals that have, the way that they structure the things that they talk about when they do a podcast episode, or when they do a YouTube video that's teaching something, or when you are reading a social media post that's intended to teach or to have a core takeaway, right? It's a version of this, it's a variation of this. So it's no secret. Just wanted to outline this and show the applications of it so that you can start practicing it and use it for yourself. Because in the world that we're living in today, it's all about the value that you're delivering, right? And the attention that you're able to hold. And I'll just share a quick statistic on that, something that we talk about a lot in my marketing agency when we're working with the clients that we run our specialized system for. In the last 3 to 4 years, the consumer habits of individuals has shifted to a place where the majority of the education for that decision, right? So when you're going through a sales cycle, whether it's for a new marketing strategy, for a software that you're looking into for your business, whatever it might be, the majority of that education process is now happening individually, meaning that consumer, that individual, is looking on YouTube, they're looking on Facebook, or doing their own research on Google, or whatever platform it might be, but they're doing that education process 80% of it on their own before they even connect with the company or the different, individual that they might decide to move forward with. So that can be used to our advantage. That can be used to our benefit as, individuals that own businesses that are providing a solution. If we can be the place where individuals can go to learn, where they can do that education process, then it helps to build the trust factor, right? It's going to help to build the trust factor to help have that, transaction of information, and build some credibility, some trust in that transaction. So diving into the formula, to the structure here. So we'll go first, and I've got 3 different examples of this, of how it's applied. But like I said, it's similar pretty much across the board, right? So the very first example, when you're putting together copy, and this could be utilized for email copy, long form email copy, or long form ad copy, which is what we use it for quite often, right? So in this structure, you're going to have first your hook that is specific to the audience. You're going to have what we call the call out or association. So some type of phrase that is associating to that audience. That might be like, I'll share an example. Maybe your hook is that you are targeting individuals who make certain amount of money and want or looking for ways to invest their money to expand their wealth, right? So our hook might be, hey, are you sick of being stuck in the golden handcuffs? Okay, that's a hook, right? Our call out or the association to that audience might say something like, if you are making between $200,000 to $400,000 per year, and you're not quite sure how to begin investing your money to build generational wealth, listen up, right? Maybe that's our association to that audience, right? Next is our value and outcome. So what? It's the what are we talking about here? So maybe for this example, the what is over the past 5 years, our team has focused on working with high income earners to help them implement a unique investment strategy that we have designed that takes your current amount that you're making and allows you to invest your money in multiple places at once, getting a confident, or I don't know, I'm like totally doing this off the cuff, making up an offer on this, but you get the idea, right? The value, the outcome, that part, right, is the what. What is it that you're talking about? What is like that secret sauce, that secret formula? What is it? Okay. The next section is your why, the credibility. So this is a good place where you'll oftentimes see, examples, case study examples like, hey, John was a individual working in the healthcare space, making $300,000 per year, and was in the same situation that you're in and had da 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 da, right? And here's the result that we were able to get for him. That's an example of the credibility, the example of the case study, right? Another way that you might show this, or showing the why piece there, or the credibility piece, is you're giving them a reason to trust, right? You're giving them proof of concept with that. So it might even be an example of, the amount of clients that you've worked with in the past. It might be an example of your own personal experience, right? Of saying, this is something that I was able to do for myself, or whatever that might be. Okay. The next part is urgency. So you want to drive some type of urgency. And that might sound like, a phrase like, our economy is shifting quickly. Take action on this now, and your future self will thank you later, right? I don't know, I'm doing this off the cuff. Okay, and then your last step is the call to action. You want to be very clear on what you want them to do, right? So again, I'm going to go down the list on this. So you've got your hook, your call out association. Third is the value, the what, right? What is it that we're talking about here? Fourth is the credibility or the proof of concept. Fifth is the urgency statement. And then last is the clear call to action. Okay. Now, let me show you how this same format is applied if you are doing a course or a webinar where you're teaching this thing, right? It shifts just a little bit, but it's the same framework. So when you're doing a webinar or a masterclass and you're teaching something, if you want it to be impactful and you want it to be something that they have a clear takeaway from, something clear that they can implement, that's going to be your best bet, because then they'll feel that they have that quick win, that they have a win and we're able to take something away from that they were able to implement and see a change, right? That's the goal. So the framework for a masterclass or webinar, similar. First, you've got your intro. Second, you're painting the picture, right? So that's where you've got your hook, your association. Third, you talk about your vehicle for the success. Fourth, your proof or your credibility. And lastly, clear takeaway or clear call to action. Okay, so same type of format. And with this, in the masterclass or webinar piece of it, with the beginning, with the intro, you want to give an intro about who you are, why it is that you're talking about this, might be, your credibility a bit, why they should be listening to you. Second, on painting the picture, right? Very similar to, in the first example, our call out of association, right? Painting the picture of their pain points, of the things that they might be experiencing and why they should listen to what this next secret sauce or the vehicle is of the what, right? Okay, then third, you go into that vehicle, the what. And my advice on how to deliver that what in the best way, you want to make it something that is easily digestible. So instead of just like rambling off a ton of information, it's going to be best if you can say, here are the 3 steps for this process, or here are the top 5 things that you need to know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or this is the exact formula of this outcome, right? Something that is a clear takeaway on what it is they should be leaving with, right? That's going to make it much easier for them to, one, take notes and know exactly what it is that they're taking notes on, right? If you say, hey, there's the 3 steps to this outcome, and they write down 1 and number 2, and then don't catch you saying number 3, that's going to cause, some confusion. But if you're going down 1, 2, and 3, boom, that's completed in their head. They've got some resolution. Now they've got a full, clear takeaway that they can go implement, right? And then number 4, for your proof, your credibility, proof of concept, this is just going to solidify, right? Solidify their trust in the vehicle, solidify their trust in the what, right? The process that you've just spoken about. And then lastly, your clear call to action, right? You want to give them a clear action to take next, whether that is, scheduling a strategy call, whether that is implementing this thing that you just taught, whatever it is, give them a clear action to take, right? Okay, I'm going to share one last example of exact same structure and how this is applied. And again, right, just to make it as impactful as possible. So this structure, the principles are exactly the same. The pillars are exactly the same when it comes to sales conversations, right? So having a conversation, a sales conversation that is productive, that helps move forward to that next step, right? So in a sales conversation, at the very beginning, you have your discovery portion with that individual, with the client, where you're learning a lot about them, about their, what's gone well, what hasn't, what are their ideal goals and outcomes that they want to see, what's stopping them from, moving forward on that right now, all the way down the list, right? Going through the discovery. Now, in comparison to our pillars that we've got, the next step is that you're taking that information that they've just shared with you during the discovery and then applying it to what the potential solution could be, right? And that's where our similarities are. So when you're explaining that and building the value, you're going to first hook to their association, right? Hook to the things, build a hook around what it is that they have expressed during that discovery portion. I like to call this the if-then statement. So it might sound something like, okay, Jane, we'll say as the example, okay, Jane, it sounds like from what you explained that if this, and this happens, then your ideal solution, fill in the blank, would exist. Is that correct? And then, the prospect says, yes, that is correct, right? And then that gives you the permission to move forward in the sales conversation. If it is not correct, it gives you great opportunity to go back and understand more about them before you go into sales mode, right? All right, so that if-then statement is really your initial hook, right? You're hooking onto exactly what they've talked about, very personal to them. You're using their exact words and what they've expressed to associate. The next part of that is that you're building the value. So you're going to walk through and talk about the solution, what it looks like in direct correlation to what they have expressed with the discovery portion of the call. Next, you're building credibility and proof of concept. So you want to share and talk about how this or what those results can look like, what you have been able to deliver, examples of clients, right? Case studies, perfect way to build proof of concept and credibility. And then lastly, you're pitching the close. So whether that is being very direct and saying, this is what it costs, this is what the investment looks like, and here's what it looks like in working with us, there's your pitch, right? Or if they're not quite ready to move forward, maybe you have a longer sales cycle, that last step could be, scheduling your next call, scheduling the next action that you're taking with them. So again, very, very similar process, right? You've got your discovery, you've got a hook to the association, you're building the value, giving them the what, building proof of concept, and then giving them a clear action to take at the end, right? So I would say in all of this process, there are different, minor adjustments that are made to the core pillars of that framework, depending on where you're delivering the content. But at the end of the day, it's very similar across the board. And I mean, I'll share a secret with you too, understanding this framework, getting it really, trained in your mind of how to deliver information is kind of a superpower if you learn it, really well, because you can be given a topic. So any random topic, and just think in your head, okay, what's the hook to this topic? Who am I talking to about this? What type of association do I need to build? What is the secret framework? How can I break this down into 3 different steps or into, something that's very tangible that they can take away from this? How can I build proof of concept? How can I build some trust around this? And then lastly, what is the action that I want them to take on it? Boom, 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 boom. Once you have those pieces and you become, you practice that a lot, you can really apply it to any topic and put together information to help get your point across or help to educate or add value in those areas. So hope that was super helpful. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.